So yeah, we are live.
All right.
So welcome guys. I know it's been a while that I haven't been uploading anything nor I have conducted any live stream. But today we are here with Matthias Scavardoni. Can I call you Matt?
That's right. Yeah, I can call him Matt. Everybody calls him Matt here, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah. So Matthias a bit of tedious job to call. So yeah, so Matthias, so Matt is basically a Brazilian footballer currently playing in Norway Division 3, and if I'm not wrong, it's what's the club name? I'm not able to pronounce it.
Nibbershund. Yeah, it's difficult. But yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if
yeah,
you are in America, if you are English speaker, you would say Nibbershund, but people here
yeah.
call it Nibbershund. Yeah.
So
So
basically,
Nibbershund in.
the special thing about Matt is that he has gotten his first pro contract when he was 27 years of old, and which is very very rare. And in today's world, whenever you search on internet, what you can see is, and if you just search on Quora that can I be pro after 18, you'll get two perspective. Okay? Most of them are like no, you're too old to go pro. You have to start by the age of 3 or maybe 10 or 12. And
Yeah.
there are some answers which say that no, you can make it through hard work, dedication, everything's possible. This so no, just to get the clarity on this topic, I've called an expert, Matt, on my channel. So welcome.
Thank you.
How have
Thank
you
you.
been,
It's my
man?
pleasure to be here. Pretty
Yeah.
good. Pretty good so far.
So you know
It's
what
getting
I
colder here in Norway now, so
when I first saw your channel and I saw that first
yeah.
video that I got my first contract at 27, I was really inspired by that story, by that thumbnail. So I clicked, being excited, I clicked. But as I checked your description, I was a bit disappointed because there you had written that you had played for Division 2 Pro and you had played for college, university, and all. So how do you consider this as your first pro contract?
Well, it is indeed the first professional contract, because it's been a long journey. And I played amateur, I played college, like you said, I played semi professional,
Yeah,
but an actual professional contract. This was the first time, not, I mean, last year when I was 27.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, even though I've been playing football my whole life, an actual professional contract was just last year when I was 27.
Okay. So that the one that you mentioned in Bratwag FC, which was in Division 2
Yeah.
Pro, what was that?
Yeah. So last year
Yeah,
was when I signed my first professional contract for Elverum Football, which is
yeah.
also here in Norway, and they play in the third division. And we didn't play that year, last year, because of Corona. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we started the league, and then they canceled the league.
Hmm.
And then for me, it's always like this. I'm always trying to find something better, and always trying to find like the next step
Yeah.
above. And after the season was gone, they actually wanted to re-sign with me,
Hmm.
and I said, "Look, I'm gonna try to find something better. If I don't find anything, then yeah, I can come and sign with you guys again." And then while I was doing my research, because I do everything on my own, I contact clubs on my own, and this club answered one of my emails as well, and which was a club from the division above,
Yeah.
which is Bratburg, where I was. And then I went there on a trial. I did good, and I signed with them. So that's how I got there. So
Oh,
yeah, when I started the YouTube channel, I was there in the second division, but
okay. So
the contract
technically,
was signed the year
that's your
before.
first contract, first pro contract at Bratwag.
Not no, in Elverum the year before
Oh, okay,
in the
okay.
third division. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Matt, tell me, you being in Brazil and you have so much of environment of football in Brazil.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing football from young age. So what happened that you don't got to play in Brazil itself?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have time, right? It's a long story.
What?
Do we have time? It's a long story.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
always
Fine.
up to listen to these stories.
All right. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm from a very, very small town in Brazil called
Okay.
Lagamar
Yeah.
in the Minas Gerais state. And yeah, ever since I've known myself as a human being, I always loved the game. I always loved playing football. And in Brazil, as you might know, we start playing in the streets.
Hmm.
And so I was playing for the local team in my town, which was an academy. They actually, there's this amateur club in my town. And then years later, an academy for a big club came to my town. And I
Hmm.
started doing the academy for them, which is Cruzeiro, the Academy of Cruzeiro FC. It's a very known team. And when I was 16, I went to the capital of my state where the big Cruzeiro's base was, to do a trial for them.
Yeah.
And I didn't make it. I didn't make it there. And I was 16 already,
Hmm.
finishing high school. And, when you're finishing high school, you always have these thoughts in your head like, all right, what should I do next? Should I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
go for
yeah.
football
Sure,
or
sure,
should I
sure.
do something else?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, when they said no to me in that trial,
Yeah.
I kind of lost interest in football because I was like, oh come on, man, I'm already, like you were talking about people asking if 18 is too old.
Mm-hmm.
I had that exactly thought in my head. Like I'm about to turn 17, 18 soon, and I think it's gone for me. It's done,
Yeah.
And then I started university in Brazil actually, and then I started law school, and then 1 year and a half was enough for me to just. I remember one day in class, people were talking about dreams, like what they wanted to do, what they
Yeah.
wanted to be for the future, and then we're talking about like, oh, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a judge, and I just didn't see myself doing anything of that sort in the future. So right there, I realized, okay, man, deep inside, I always knew I wanted to be a football player. That's it. There's no reason for me to go other way. And then I called my parents and I said, look, I'm quitting university and I'm going for my dream. I wanted to be a professional footballer. That's
Hmm.
everything I always wanted. And right there, I was already 20, almost
Oh,
21.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
So what I did was I was contacting clubs around the place where I was living, and they were all saying, "Unfortunately, you're too old." Blah blah blah. 20 years old is already too old for our
Yeah, yeah,
standards,
yeah.
and yeah. And then I was like, "Fine. So what should I do then? Maybe a different country." And then I started like searching online for options here, options there, and I found this opportunity in America to go to universities and you play for them. And if you do good, you can be drafted and play professionally in America. And I remember also, it's funny because in this research that I was doing, I also found like uh, an opportunity to go to Ireland and
Oh,
study English there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I almost went there because I was like, but the plan was always football, even though I was going to America for studying. And even if I had gone to Ireland to study English as well, the plan was always football. So
Football,
go
yeah.
to school, but yeah, I was also trying to find a club
Keep
here.
that fire going for football.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, yeah, for some reason, this opportunity in America caught more my attention. And then I started like sending emails to universities everywhere. And then, so, okay, here's the point actually. There is this big academy in Brazil that send players to America to do
Okay.
this exactly program. And then I actually emailed them and I asked how it was and everything. And they said they were located only in the capitals of the states in Brazil. And I was living in a small town. So I had to move to one of the capitals to be part of this program.
Yeah.
And my cousin was living in the capital of Brazil where this academy was settled. And
Yeah.
then I started doing everything for them, uh, playing and studying English. And then eventually they would send me to America. And I was living with my cousin, as I said,
Hmm.
and I was also working with my cousin's husband to make some money and everything.
Yeah.
And I was in the back of my head, I was like, fine, I'm here with them, playing, studying English. They will charge me something to send me to America. It's not going to
Yeah,
be for free,
obviously.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then we had a meeting at some point, and then they said, all right, this is the price that you guys have to pay for us to send you guys to America. And it was just very out of my reality.
Oh
And
my God.
then I said, all right, fine, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I don't have money to pay for this. And then I started to think to myself, what is the process? What do they do to send players to America? It cannot be that difficult. Is it
Yeah,
sending
yeah.
emails? Is it calling them? So, and then it goes back to what I was saying just now. And then I started sending emails to universities and like searching online for days and days. I was like, maybe this is the way they do. And it was actually, I was getting a lot of answers back from the universities that I was contacting. And then two of them, out of the 1,000 emails that I sent, two of them answered my email saying, oh, you're a good player. We want you to come. And it was one from Michigan and one
Yeah,
from California. And for some reason, the one from Michigan worked out better. The coach was more responsive with the emails. So yeah, and then he said you can come, you're good. And then I started doing everything on my own again, applying for visa, saving money to buy the tickets. And then August 2015, at 22 years old, I go to America completely by myself without knowing anyone. I remember when I arrived in Detroit, the coach was talking to me by email, right? Because obviously I didn't have a phone number yet.
Yeah.
And it took me like 2 hours to get out of the airport because my English was very bad at the time.
Yeah.
Like in Brazil, public schools, we don't study English there. So the English that I knew was very basic.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
Yeah, even I actually forgot to mention I had to do a test, like a proficiency test, to show the university how good my English was.
English.
And
what happened?
and I didn't. So I had to the score that they wanted was 50%.
Yeah.
And I got like 40, 46, 47.
Yeah.
And they said, fine, you can still come, but your first semester, you will have to only take English classes. You can't just start university yet. You have to improve your English. All right. So, and then I'm there in America now. The coach picks me up, and I remember he drops me off at the dorms, where their students live. And he said, all right, tomorrow morning, we have a meeting with the international students office to, do all the paperwork for you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he gave the talk we had before I went was, we're going to give you 50% of scholarship. And the day after, it was good. And then I saved the money. And this meeting that he was talking about the day after, I got there, and he said, so the scholarship that we had for you of 50%, we actually had to give it to another guy that came in earlier, before you. So we don't have any scholarship for you anymore.
How did they do that?
Look, I don't know. And then it was very bad. And then all the money that I had with me, I already went with money to stay only for one semester. I already went with a very crazy idea. And then now he said that there's no scholarship anymore. So imagine. So now all the money that I had to pay for classes and the housing and everything, the dorms where I was going to stay, went all for the classes only. So I was left with almost no money to pay for housing. And they said, okay, you have 1 week to decide where you're going to live now. Because I told them, look, I can't live in the dorms. I don't have money.
Yeah.
And then that's when I believe in God. I remember one day that my first class was English class, like I said, and we had a lot of international students. And there were some guys from Nepal. And they said, look, we're looking for roommates. We have a house downtown. Do you want to live with us? I'm like, man, you have no idea how much I'm looking for a place to stay. And then, I go there. I start living with them. And look, this is like movie thing, man. I had to pay the rent on the 5th of the month.
Pursuit of Happiness Part 2.
Yes, no, now is when the struggle starts. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they, so when I arrived was like arrived on the 7th of the month, so the month was already paid. So I only had to pay for the next month.
Hmm.
I'm like, all right, fine. My classes are paid. Now I need to, find money to pay for my housing here. So I have to find a job. And at the university where I was, they said
Hmm.
all the jobs here are taken. There's no jobs
What?
available. So yeah, so I was like, fine. So what I did was, so these guys from Nepal, they were very undisciplined. Like they wouldn't go to school some days, and they had a car. So
Yeah.
we
And
used to go
and
together.
you were doing all this, keeping your trainings intact, keeping
Yes,
everything, diet and your fitness intact.
good point. Yeah. So,
Man, how are
I'm
you doing
there.
that?
I'm there, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to settle, and then okay,
Yeah.
fine. Now I can focus 100% on football. But like I said, money was a big problem for me, so I had to
Sure.
do all these other things. And okay, I'm there living with them, so I need money to pay for the next month of rent and food and everything. So I was like, fine, I have to find a job. At
Yeah.
the university, there's no jobs for me, so I have to find a job outside. So one day, I remember, like I told you, the guys from Nepal, they would miss a
Mm-hmm.
lot of classes, but they had
Mm.
a car. So one day I went to the library and I printed off like 20, 30 resumes, fake resumes saying that I worked in restaurants in Brazil and everywhere.
Yeah.
I got them. I go back home. I get the car because they were sleeping already. This was in the very morning. And
Yeah.
I got the car and I just go all around the city in all the restaurants, like giving them my resume, asking
Damn.
for jobs. And then one Mexican restaurant said, yeah, we need a person here to wash the dishes if you want to come. I'm like, cool, fine, I can do it. I remember my first day, man. I washed dishes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. My hands were like, and it's fine because all right, fine. Now I have a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
The classes are paid. Now I can finally breathe.
Yeah.
So there was when I felt safe finally, because at that until that point I was like, I was really thinking, man, if nothing works out, maybe I'll go back to Brazil. But
Yeah.
I have to find a way. And then once I got that job, it was
What
like,
like
fine.
what was
Now,
going on through your mind? Like uh if I fail, what would I do? And
yeah.
these
Well,
things.
I said, right. I can't lie. In the back of my head, it was always like, there is a possibility of everything going wrong and I go back to Brazil, but
Yeah.
that was 0.001%. Like 99.999% was I will find a way. I will find a way.
Yeah.
So and that's exactly what I did. So I found that job and then everything started to work out. But remember, the purpose behind all of this is always football. So
Obviously.
now now I'm always focusing more on training and everything. And I forgot to mention as well, I went to a junior college, a community college, which is, if you put in the divisions of the, say, soccer divisions in the university level, I went to a community college, which would be the fifth level of the university level for football. So I didn't know that. So when I went, I was very innocent. I didn't know how the system worked. So I thought it was just one big system, one league, and
Mm-hmm.
then if you do good, the MLS teams will pick you up.
Oh
But
shit.
no, I wasn't. I was in the fifth level, if you like. So now
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I need to be playing in the first division for the MLS clubs to pick me up, because remember, the whole point was to become a professional footballer, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I stayed there for 2 years, and in a community college, you can only stay for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the plan was now, like I said, move to a first division team. And my
Mm-hmm.
coach liked me a lot, and he said, "We're going to help you." And I actually went on trials for two universities of Division One, and
Mm-hmm.
Western Michigan University in Michigan, obviously, that
Mm-hmm.
plays in the Division One. They wanted
Yeah.
me. I went there on a trial. I did very good, and they asked for the paperwork, and I sent everything to NCAA, which is the system that runs the Division One.
Yeah, yeah.
soccer league. And then, man, everything I did just didn't work. I don't know what it was. They would ask me for all these papers and documents and my grades, and I would send them, but at the end was always something wrong. And then we hit the deadline, and I
Yeah.
was not eligible to play
I'm
anymore.
telling you, if
And then,
you had been recording, sorry to interrupt. If you had been recording
yeah.
all this, it would have been turned into an amazing YouTube channel right from then. If you had been recording
Look,
your journey.
it's just the beginning, man. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, uh, my coach said,
Hmm.
it's your age. It's your age. I was what, 24 at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said, Division One schools usually don't accept players above 23, and I was already
My
24. So
God. So
age again was
don't
a
you like
problem.
felt very put into a dark hole when somebody says that it's just your age and that's the reason we are not taking you.
Mm.
Like, what's the
So
exact feeling that you felt when somebody says this?
here, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I understand their point. The younger the player is, the better for them. I understand that.
Hmm.
But I also understand that they don't understand how powerful my will was and how hard I
Yeah.
worked. And
Yeah.
I knew that they don't know me. So like, okay, if you say no to me now, somebody else will say yes. So
Sure.
I always had this in my head, like I just need one opportunity. You can say no to me, you can say no to me, but someone will say yes because I believe in myself. So that was my thought process all the time.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm there in America and I'm looking for teams and universities to play for, but I realized again that age was a problem. So I was there working, and now I was working in a construction with Brazilians because, like I said, you can only play for 2 years for a junior college. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
transfer somewhere. But I knew that if I didn't transfer to a D1 school, a professional contract would be very difficult for me because if
Sure.
you transfer, say, to a NAIA, which is a third division there,
Mm-hmm.
it would be very difficult. So I'm like, fine, I need another plan. I know here in America, it's going to be difficult for me. So I'm working there in the construction now with the Brazilians to make some good money. And again, this is when God enters my story again. I always knew that my family had Italian background,
Yeah.
and in this process of trying to figure out what I was going to do next, my uncle sends me a message on WhatsApp saying, "Look, we found the document that was missing in our Italian citizenship to get the
Okay.
Italian documents."
Yeah.
And I'm like, in a matter of 15 seconds, I made a whole plan in my head already. I'm like, man, I'll get these documents. I'll go to Italy. I'll
Yeah.
get my passport and I'll start the journey in Europe because I know that in Europe is where the heart of football
Hard
is,
as football lies. Yeah.
Yes. So I know age over there will not be as like big of a deal as we was in America. So I called my parents and I said, I'm going to Italy. And they were like, what? But they're very supportive. And like when it comes to taking the next step, I'm very crazy, if you will. I just go. And my mom is always like, all right, my son, just go. God will help you and everything. So now, the day I received the message from my uncle, 15 days later, I was in Italy.
Oh,
And yeah, so it's like I had the plan and I just went for it. And remember, I was saving money already for,
for your
uh,
trips.
yeah. So, like I said, I was expecting to be transferred to a D1 school, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't know if the scholarship scenario would happen again. Say they offered me 50% again, and I go there and they said no more. So I was actually saving money for that, and
Yeah.
that money that I saved was actually to pay for this agency that
Mm-hmm.
they worked with Brazilians to get them the citizenship, the Italian citizenship. So I go to Italy. I sign with them, right? And then I pay everything. And they said, all right, 4 months here until you get your documents.
Okay.
And the day I received my passport, I started contacting clubs again now in Europe. And so if you look at my resume at that point, it was college football.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention I was playing for an amateur club in America in my last year
Okay.
there. But it was an amateur club, so it was nothing that would take me to a professional club, right?
Hmm.
So I was sending emails to all clubs everywhere in Europe, and then telling them I'm a Brazilian footballer. I play university. I play for an amateur club. And now I'm trying to find clubs here in Europe, and I'm sending emails to semi-professional clubs because I knew, if I only played university and amateur,
Mm-hmm.
like it will be very different. I had to be realistic, So I
Yeah,
go
yeah,
step by step. So now
yeah.
I'm a college amateur, now semi-professional. So I'm
Hmm.
sending emails everywhere, and
Hmm.
two clubs from London answered my emails saying that I could come for a trial. And this is where God comes again. One of the Brazilian friends that I made in Italy
Yeah.
during the process of getting the Italian citizenship, his
Hmm.
citizenship process got done before mine, and he moved exactly to London. And then I said, look, these two clubs from London want me to go for a trial. Can I stay in your place for a few days? And he said, yeah, man, of course. So I go to London, I do the trials. One was very far away from where I was living, and another one was nearby. So
Hmm.
the one that was nearby, I actually made it. And he said, you good? We can sign with you. And it was a semi-professional club called Wembley FC
Yeah,
in
I've read
London.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
in your
so
description.
so I'm there now, and then obviously I cannot stay with my friend because he had his
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend there and everything. So I
Yeah,
find
yeah.
a place for me to stay there, and but there was no salary. It was a very good club for your resume. It's a good name. It's a
Hmm.
semi-professional club, but
Yeah.
there was no salary, so I had to work on the side again. And I found this job in a hotel, right? And the problem was it was too far. So here's London. I'm living here. The club is here, and say the hotel would be here. So I would, leave my house at 7 a.m. and come back like midnight every day.
Oh
So it
shit.
was a crazy journey, crazy journey. But I was doing good in training and everything. And
So how
I
long
remember
did you do that?
with the job, the training, the hotel thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I arrived in London in December. I did the
Yeah.
trials in December, and then January I started this whole thing because I moved to that house, and then I started there January, and January, February, so 2 months doing this whole thing. Uh, I did a showcase as well in London where I played for a lot of coaches and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When I was still with Wembley, and one coach from a club called Torquay FC in England that played in the fifth division, which was a professional club. In England, they have like so many divisions, and the fifth
Yeah.
division there is actually professional. And the club where I was, the Wembley, if I'm not mistaken, we were in the seventh league or eighth. So this club from the fifth saw me playing. They said, "You're good. You can come for a trial," and it was a professional club. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be like in theory my first professional contract if I made it, right? So I go there, I ask for some days off at the hotel. I go there, I do the trials, and they said, can you come again? You're good. We have to take another look because we're gonna be playing a friendly game, so we want you to come again. And I said, yeah, fine. So I go back, train, work, and then the next week I asked for some days off again at the hotel, and the lady said, the manager, yeah, you can go, but if you go, we're gonna have to fire you because weekends are the busiest days
Yeah, yeah.
in the hotel. So if you ask every weekend, you're asking 4 days off, and I'm like, okay, I'm not here to work in a hotel. Nothing against who works in hotels. I'm just saying this is not what I want to do. My dream is to be a professional footballer, so I have
Yeah.
to go.
It
So
makes sense for you. Yeah.
yeah, I go for this trial again. Now jobless because they fired me. So I go there, and I didn't do good. I did not do good in the second time, and they said, "You're a good player, but there's still something missing." They said to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, no problem, Tom." I go back to London, and I remember on the way back, it was a bit far, like 4 or 5 hours by bus.
Hmm.
So on the way back, I was like, man, and I was already 26. I'm forgetting to
Oh,
mention the ages. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm 26 at that point, being rejected from a professional club. And then these thoughts start coming to your head like, man, do you still have time? You're already 26.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it too late for you or not? But
Mm-hmm.
man, there was always something inside of me that no matter how bad my thoughts were, there was always this little voice inside of me that said, man, just don't give
Just
up,
keep
just keep
going.
pushing.
Yeah.
And I remember the day after that, I woke up like 6 a.m. in the morning, started running. And I was like, man, there's nothing that's going to stop me. It's not going to be going to America without money. It's
Yeah.
not going to be Division 1 schools saying no to me. It's not going to be like being rejected at 26 years old by a professional club. Like nothing's going to stop me. And then I go back and I find all I have to do is train good here 1 season for my semi-pro club. And then I'm going to start sending emails and something's going to pop, I'm sure. And I started now training with a very different mindset with Wembley FC, like working much harder. Like this rejection from this professional club
Mm-hmm.
actually made me much stronger, much stronger. So I'm working like very hard. And
You again joined the hotel?
no, oh, good point. I forgot to mention. So I'm training now, so I had to find a different job, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm working. By the way, now I'm working in an Indian restaurant in London.
Oh, is it?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was called, what was it? Yeah, Canton Lane Cafe. And I
Oh,
remember all the dishes there, yeah. Bombay sandwiches and everything.
okay.
But anyways, um, I'm training. It was good because now, so remember, the hotel was far from where I was living. So now I'm living here, training here, and the restaurant was really nearby. So I would do like
So
the whole thing
this
by
was
bike.
much more convenient.
Yeah, much more convenient. So I bought a bicycle and I would just cycle like to training, to work, to home. So it was perfect. And training very hard,
Yeah.
boom, ripped my knee.
Oh
My
shit.
what is it called? IT band syndrome. So the outside
Man.
part of the knee.
I was just
There
wondering
was a
that
rupture.
you haven't faced any injuries so far.
Oh man, listen,
I
major
mean,
ones,
yeah.
no, but always picking up the small injuries. But this one was major. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it was a semi-professional club, so we did not have like a doctor or a physiotherapist
Physios,
that would
yeah.
help us. So everything I was doing, I had to pay out of my pocket, and just to find what the problem was, it took me 1 month, because I would go to one place and they would say, "Oh, this is the meniscus. Oh, this is your LCL."
Yeah.
And then I was start doing the rehab, but nothing was working. And then after a month and a half, more or less, I said, "Fine, I need to pay a specialist that actually knows what it is."
Yeah.
And I went to this guy, and they said, "Look, it's your IT band. This is IT band syndrome. So there's two ways for you to fix it. You can do surgery, which you will be from 6 to 8 months out,
Yeah.
or you can try PRP injections, which is the platelet-rich plasma thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and in 4 weeks you will be back." I'm like, for me, it's all about time. The
Time.
quicker I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
recover, the better. Yeah. And each injection was like 300 pounds or something like that. And remember, like, I can't even work now because the restaurant, I had to go up and down the stairs to get the food and everything. And I'm walking like this. So I switched jobs again. And now I'm doing deliveries on the motorcycle. So it's much
Okay.
easier for me. I don't have to use my leg as much. So I'm like, fine, I need to pay for this treatment. So I'm working like, man, 12, 14 hours a day to save the money. And because life in London is very
So
expensive.
now
So
you might not be training that much, right?
no, not at all. I
Because
couldn't
yeah.
train. I couldn't train. Yeah. So worked a lot, saved money, boom, 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 1, 2, 3 injections. And after, around almost 4 months, I was back. And then I started training again. And I go back to Wembley, and I said, I fixed my injury. And they said, look, unfortunately, we found another guy. He's fit. He's playing all games. So we don't need you anymore.
That's
And
the
then I'm like,
that's the
yeah.
part of football. Like you get
Yes,
replaced like this.
exactly. And I understood, I'm like, fine. But
Mm.
I had already played a very good season for them, even though I got injured and even though all these other things happened,
Mm-hmm.
I had played many games for them and I
Yeah.
made a very good video already. So I'm like, fine. And this was, almost December already. And I hadn't gone to Brazil in years. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going home. I'm going to Brazil. I'm going to see my family. I'm going to be training there as well. And from Brazil, I will do everything I always did, send emails. And now I've played university level, amateur, and semi-professional. So now I can actually start contacting professional clubs.
Oh,
And
so now
yeah,
that you have
so
played, yeah.
I'm in Brazil now, training every day, and I send emails to clubs and also to agents, right? And while I was there in Brazil training and with my family,
Mm.
an agent from Spain answered one of my emails saying, "Oh, you're a good player. You want to sign with our agency?" And then I looked everything up, their website. It looks legit, and I signed with them.
Okay.
So yeah, and there I was already 27, and I was in
Oh, so
Brazil.
that was your
Yeah,
first pro contract.
was it? Was it? Okay, maybe not. So I'm there. I signed with the agency, but look, this is a contract with an agency, right? It's
Oh,
nothing that, only that.
okay.
And he said, oh, okay, fine. We have a club for you in the 4th division of Spain,
Hmm.
and you can come in January. This was December. And I'm like, cool, training hard in Brazil at all.
Hmm.
January, I'm at the airport
Hmm.
going to Spain to this club where I was gonna be doing the trial.
Yeah.
And he said, look, they changed all the staff at the club where you were going to come, and they actually stopped all the trialists that were coming to do the trial.
Damn.
And I'm like, man, I am at the airport going to Spain. Like,
Oh
and
shit.
he said, yeah, just wait a little more, and we're gonna find something else. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And I
Yeah.
have family relatives in Belgium.
Okay.
So I have an aunt living there and a couple cousins as well. So
Hmm.
I called them and I said, look, I was going to Spain, and I explained all the situation, blah, blah, blah. And they said, yeah, you can come and stay here for, a few days until you find something. So
Yeah.
that's exactly what I did. So I went to Spain, and then I took a train to Paris and then Belgium. So now I'm in Belgium, right? Waiting. Just imagine my mom, man. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm going to Belgium instead now. And she
Oh
was like,
shit.
what? Weren't you going to Spain? So I'm like, yeah, this, and that happened, blah, blah, blah. And I'm in Belgium waiting for my agent to find something for me. And he
in
was always
in
like,
in back of your mom's mind, she was like, I want a GPS tracker on my son's back because I don't know next moment which country he will be.
exactly. But like I said, she knows me already. So
Yeah.
of course, she wants the best for me. And she knows that if something good shows up for me, I'll just go. So anyways, I'm there in Belgium waiting. And my agent was always like, oh, give me one more week. Oh, we're finding something here, there. Just wait. And then, man, 1 month has gone by. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing everything I always did. So I got my computer, start sending emails as well.
Yeah.
Everywhere, man. All clubs in Europe, 2nd, 3rd, 4th division. And then one club from Norway answered one of my emails, which was the club from the 3rd division called Elverum.
Oh.
Then I went there. I went there on a trial, and I did very good. And then I remember there's one interesting event that happened. So in the last day of the trial, right,
Hmm.
was going to be a friendly game,
Okay.
and I twisted my ankle a training before, but I was doing very very good in training already. So I thought, like, man, like that's it. He already knows that I'm good. Maybe I don't need to play, because I was
Yeah.
very skeptical about my ankle. And he said after
Yeah.
training, you're playing, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, 100%, I'm playing. So I just wrapped my ankle so hard that day that when the ref blew the whistle, I didn't feel any pain, and I actually scored a goal as well.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, it was very good. And then I was like, after the game, I was like, fine, that's it. I'm gonna finally sign. And then he calls me up to his office and said, look,
Hmm.
we're gonna call you back and give you the answer later. So
Yeah.
I had to go back to Belgium and wait for the call. So I'm there in Belgium, I go back waiting for
Yeah.
them to call me to, to say if I was accepted or not.
Yeah.
And for me, it was clear that I did very good. So I was just waiting for the yes. And 1 week, 2 weeks, nothing. I'm like, man, what the heck is this? And then 3 weeks had passed, and I'm like, and they didn't call me. And my
Oh
money,
shit.
it's
Then.
fun. My money finished. So I had to start working in Belgium again.
Oh.
Remember in Brazil when I told you that I worked with my cousin's husband in construction in
Yeah. Yeah.
Brasilia?
Yeah.
They were now living in Belgium. So I was
Okay.
working with him again in
Again.
construction in Belgium. Yeah.
What was his first
So
reaction when he saw you again?
yeah, no, it was fun because obviously we knew each other,
Yeah.
and yeah, we talked about that. Like, man, this world is so weird, you know. Some days we're in Brazil, now we're here doing the same thing. And
And
that's exactly what I was thinking as well, you know, like, man, I'm this close from signing a professional contract, and
yeah.
I'm here like working in a construction. Like,
Hmm.
that's something that I was thinking that day. Like, how many players would do that? You know, I know players myself. I know players that they're very good players. They want to become professional players, but there are certain things that they would not do, you know, to get there. And
Get there. Yeah.
like things like this, maybe, what is it, humility, or they're not just humble enough to do like this
Yeah.
type of things. But for me it was very clear, like,
Yeah.
this needs to be done for me to get closer to my dream. So I would do it regardless of what it is, you know. So I'm there, and then almost 1 month they called me, and I remember I was after work, we were home already, and I was with my phone. They called me and they said, yeah, hi Mateus, welcome to the club. This is the salary. This is the place where you're gonna stay. Blah blah blah. Here's your ticket. Blah blah
Oh,
blah. Man,
nice.
that
Finally, the
day, man,
day when your dream came true.
I still get goosebumps just by talking about it. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I can feel that.
you, you
Because
know, when
yeah,
you work.
after just by listening to your struggle, I can say that struggle, many people won't be willing to do that.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's what I
Traveling
say to
so many
everyone. Like,
countries, working in hotels, traveling for 12 hours straight, and this is
yeah, man.
something
So
which people wouldn't imagine in their worst nightmares. But
yeah,
it at the end, if you make it, it's really worth it.
exactly. So when they called me and said, "Look, this is your salary. This is your where you're gonna stay," like a
Yeah.
whole movie started passing in front of my eyes, like about everything I've done to get here. So yeah, I go there. Very nice club facilities. I'm playing with them, and then we played about 4 games, and the Corona broke out.
Yeah.
And so my first year as a professional, I
Hmm.
actually didn't play the season because this season was canceled.
Hmm.
And
But you
yeah,
were
it
still
was actually,
signed.
yeah, it was just signed, still getting paid normally. We just didn't play the league games because of Corona. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then December arrives, and they did a little meeting, and then they put me to the side and said, "Look, we're gonna next year the season will go on normally, and we want to have you in the team again."
Yeah.
And but like I told you before, I'm always looking for better things. I'm very grateful for Elverum, you know, because they were my first professional contract. But I was straight to the point with them. Look, I will try to find something else, something better. If I don't find, I will be more than happy to come back and play for you guys again. So I
Yeah,
go
they
back to
said.
Brazil. They say, yeah, fine. They
Okay.
really liked me. So I go for Christmas
Yeah.
uh, in Brazil, and I'm contacting clubs. And then, so when I was in England, I made friends with this guy from Brazil that was playing in this club called Brattvåg in
Oh,
Norway, which is a club that plays in the second division and division above. And because of Corona, a lot of clubs were answering my emails saying that they were not accepting anyone in
okay.
due to the restrictions of Corona.
Okay.
So this Brazilian friend that I made online, like via Instagram, said I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to him, explained the situation, and I asked him, "Look, I know you play in the second division of Norway. I was playing the third division last year, and I'm trying to take a step up. Can you talk to your coach and ask him if he wants a new player?" And
Okay.
because I had played Norway already, it was easier for me to come into the country. So I came and I went to this club to do the trial in the second division now, one division above, and I did good. We signed the contract, and I'm there now in the very good team, very professional. Like so far in my career, the best club I played
Yeah.
in terms of everything. And
Yeah.
now an injury again kind of prevents me from going forward. So I'm training with them in preseason, and then a few weeks before the season would start, I pick up a groin injury,
Okay.
and yeah, so it was very annoying. I thought it was nothing serious at first, but when I would come back to training, it would come again, the injury. So, and I came already as a second
So you
option,
weren't able to
and
like perform to 100%, or you
yes,
like.
exactly that. So I was in the beginning was good, no injuries, but then I picked up this injury, and then
Hmm.
it was never the same in that period of time. And then they brought two more players in my position. So
Okay.
when I finally fixed the injury, I was the fourth option. So and then the league started. I was on the bench for a couple of games, and I realized really quickly that I wouldn't get much game time there because one player would come in and then maybe two, and I was still the third option right there on the
Yeah.
bench. So I was like, you know what? I need to maybe even if I go down one division again, it's gonna be better for me, because if I
You
stay here,
needed game
okay,
time.
exactly. As a player, you need game time. So
Hmm.
I would rather go down again in one division and play for a lower division club, but play all the games
Yeah.
instead of being a good team here but not playing. So that's exactly what I did. I talked to the sports director where in Brattvåg, and then I explained the situation with the coach as well. And then my roommates in Melbourne the year before was now playing for this club called Nibersund, which played in the division below.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to him, and I said, "Look, I'm not playing here. Would you talk to your coaches and staff there if they want me to come for a trial? Maybe we could do a transfer." And then I talked to the sports director at the club where I
Hmm.
was, and
Hmm.
then everything worked. So they said, "Yeah, fine. You obviously you're the third option here for us." So I think they also understood in Brattvåg. They said it's actually better for
Hmm.
you if you transfer to a club where you know you're going to play.
Yeah.
And then I talked to my ex roommates that was in Ibershun. They talked to the coaches, and then they made a transfer for me from Brattvåg to Ibershun.
Yeah.
And that came, and it was funny because the first game we played against Elverum, which was the club that I signed my first professional
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, season started good. We started
Yeah. I
playing,
saw your
training,
matches,
and
man. Your match analysis video.
oh yeah,
And
that one. Yeah, just
yeah.
played that a couple weeks
So
ago, and here I am. That's it.
I must say, like
Long
you
story.
I enjoyed watching you playing, uh because we also have some other YouTubers, right? And they also are wingers, and most of them, they don't play like attacking mindset, but I liked your game the way you were combining with the
Mm.
midfielders and making
Yeah.
those runs, and yeah,
Yeah.
overall taking players one on one. That's the style of play I like. So I liked your analysis.
Yeah, that's the Brazilian blood, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I love to do, man. As a winger, if I have space, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
it's not every time that I'm going to go forward and try to beat
Yeah,
1v1, because sometimes if you lose the ball, it's a counter attack for them, and they can end up scoring the goal. But that's
yeah.
in my instincts is this: get the ball and go forward. If I have space, I'll
Mm-hmm.
go every time. That's my style of playing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what I wanted to ask you is that uh, whenever you say search on internet, the people who made it late, you get very few examples, like
Mm.
Jamie Vardy, Didier Drogba made it
Yeah.
at 21.
Yeah.
So there are very few examples. So people say that people argue that these people are different, and most likely most players don't make it when they are over 20. So the question is that when you go to a coach, or when you are like approached for a trial, and you show your skills to the coach, the if you're performing well, if you're fit enough, the coach go like, no, you're old enough, you're not, like, you're old, your age is like you're too old to play professional
I
football.
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so do the
Uh,
coaches go like that, or they just judge you on the basis of your abilities?
from my own experience, obviously, I can only speak from my own experience.
Yeah.
Uh, in Europe, age was never a problem for me.
Okay.
Everywhere I went for a trial, um, if you delivered, if you did your job, if you did good, they wouldn't even bother asking like how old you are, or anything like that, because
Okay.
you just look at the professional clubs at high level. You have players at 34, 5, 6 performing every game.
Yeah, yeah.
So this idea of oh, you're over 30, you're already old for football. This is a very old thought, because back then, yes, maybe it was like that because players didn't take much care of their body, or you have many examples, especially Brazilian players. After 30, they start going down.
Yeah.
But in this new era of football, you can clearly see that many players, many examples out there, they actually start their best, their prime after 30. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of taking good care of your body and your mind as well. Obviously, people don't talk much about the mind, but it's so important as well. And again, I go back to what I just said.
Hmm.
Delivering, if you are delivering, if you are performing well, if you are doing what the coaches are asking you to do, your age is literally just a number.
So, like, in your whole experience, you were traveling so much throughout the countries. So it's not like you were the only one who was at the age of 27, 26. So there would be many players who would be in that age range and still making it, right?
Yes, exactly. So for example, yeah, everywhere I went, everywhere I go, there will always be players older than me, many players younger, many players same age. And that's why I always say, it doesn't matter how old you are, because if you go and deliver and perform well, there will be players there
Yeah,
with the
even
same
I
age
just
as
asked
you.
this because,
So,
even players who are like 15, 16 years old,
man,
they
that
even they're that young and they still have that mentality, just because their coaches, they just keep shouting at them, and they just say that, once you're like after a certain point, no one will take you in their team. So yeah, they're just
right.
scared. So in many videos you'll just get these comments that, I'm in India, I'm 23 years old, and should I go professional? And I find that question very stupid, because who are we, or who are you to tell? It's that person, and he'll find out, like, just by pursuing it. What do you say?
Right. So here's the thing. at least for me, it was like this, and I believe, even if I was born in a different country, I would do the same.
Yeah.
Which is, which is okay. What I want? What is my dream? Okay, you have to get that very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it. Okay, that's what I want to do. Okay, that's what I am now. That's what I will be doing from now on to the rest of my life. This is it. So there's no coming back. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah. Yeah.
returning and changing the plan. Okay, once you have that clear already, then everything starts to be on track, because
Mm.
there's no more excuses. Every obstacle that comes in your way now, your first reaction to it is always find a way to
Yeah.
go over it. All right, is it over? Is it underneath, left, right? Okay, fine, bring it on. What's next? That's the mentality that you will have when you put in your head that, okay, that's exactly what I want now and nothing else. And if nothing's working where you live, this is something that I try to explain to so many people, but like, obviously the comfort zone is a very bad thing for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And many players just think that the opportunities are only around where they live. Say
Yeah.
if you're from India or Indonesia, whatever, France, and then you live there, and then obviously you're going to be trying to find clubs around you, and nothing's working for you, and then you start thinking, "Oh man, so nothing's working here. That's it." I'm like, man, just okay, where you live is not working. Try a different country.
So
Try a
idea,
different
yeah,
area.
yeah. Idea
The
is
idea
to
is this,
broaden your goal, right? Rather than
because exactly,
just
because
aiming for a
look,
small
for
pond.
me, yeah, for me it was very clear. Everywhere I went, I
Mm-hmm.
was looked with better eyes because I was the player coming from the outside. So, when you're from a certain area, people know about you. So, when you go from there to somewhere else, you're a stranger. So they want to know who you are and what you're capable of. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why when you go to different countries, you will have much more opportunities because people want to know about you. So that's what I always say to people: just go try different countries. Of course, some countries, where you're from, your passport is a bit more restrict, so it won't allow you to go like to too many places. But just try to go other places,
Yeah.
different than where you live. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I wanted to ask you that, were you? I've seen your analysis videos, so I know how you are technically, right? So, were you always this good from the beginning, or you developed your way up to this point where you are?
Say that again.
So, see, I've seen you playing in matches, from your
Yeah. Yeah.
videos. So, were you always this good from the start, or you have worked your way up?
No, it's a process. It's a process. Look, like I just told you my whole story. So I went
Yeah.
from nothing to college to amateur to semi-pro to professional. So no matter how good you are, you're always learning. So if you analyze a video of myself playing when I was an amateur club, it's a completely different game. Of
Oh,
course, you can actually see some moves that are similar, but like, at least for me, I actually see myself always improving, and
okay.
that's why I work every day, and I try to do like work on my weaknesses every day, because you can always sharpen what you are and get better at things. So the video that you saw today,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the way I play, obviously it's a constant result of the work that I've been doing my whole life. So it's of course you can argue that there is some talent there, born with it, but
It is
it's
Brazilian.
the yeah. But look, I would say honestly that each day it's better because, like I said, I truly believe in progress and work through the hard work. So I think, yeah, the way I play today is different than what I've
Yeah.
played many years ago. Yeah.
So, I have planned this interesting section of the podcast where I'll give you four situations. So these are
Mm.
basically four types of players that I see in my environment. and you just tell me what would be the best possible route for them to go pro, right?
Okay.
So first one is 17-year-old didn't take football seriously in early in his life, uh, so he might be technically rusty. So he has again started it. He has again started taking it seriously. What would he be doing?
Okay. The plan, so he's 17, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 17. First of all, just take out of your head that you are too old.
Okay.
Maybe this person has that in the back of his head, and
Yeah.
that's what's preventing him from actually reaching his best. Start from where you are. Doesn't matter if you're playing amateur, playing the 10th league in your country. Start from where you are.
Yeah.
Always try to improve. That's logical, but some players kind of get stuck in the technical level because they think they're already too good enough. But I was just talking about this. You can always improve. So always try to improve. Remember to record yourself playing. Remember that, and put your name out there. Contact people. Don't hesitate to. Obviously, you have to have your video first, and then a football resume as well will help. And don't be afraid to put your name out there. Create a little YouTube channel, put your videos there, and then just search online. Go on Google, search for agents, search for clubs, go to their websites, try to find the emails for the sports director or the coaches. Just send your name. That's it.
See,
and always keep improving.
Yeah. So, I heard your story, and one question that ran into my mind is that you never went to an open tryout. So, how do you feel about these open tryouts and combines that the clubs organize? You
I have.
every trial that you told me, it's just through agents or contacts and emails. So, what do you feel about open tryouts?
I actually have. I have gone to many. The thing is that they didn't take me to any place, so that's why I don't talk about them in my story. But I did. I did go to many. In America.
Yeah.
I don't talk. So in America, I went to Ann Arbor FC. I went to Lansing City. FC. I went to Chicago Fire.
Yeah.
And that's 3 already there. And I went to Cruzeiro in Belo Horizonte. I told you when I was in Brazil, when I was 16, I went to that. So, and also there was a combine right there. And so 4 and rejected from all of them. And now answering your question, what do I think about that? That is something that usually, from what I know, obviously I'm not an expert on that, but from what I know, clubs do that looking only for one player, usually. Say they need a midfielder, but they do a whole combine because they can actually earn money from that.
So there would be
from
more
that,
than 100 player, right?
Yeah. So that's, again, that obviously there's many situations where they might need more players. Maybe they need a whole team. I don't know. But from the ones that I've gone to, and I talked to people and I saw the afterwards.
One player.
1 or 2, maybe. Maybe 3.
Certain body type and a certain playing style.
Yes, but my honest answer to that is it's a good experience for you. You can go, you can see how players play.
Plus, I think so. You build a lot of connections there.
Yes, always. When you're around football players, there's always like a friendship that you can make that might eventually help you in the future. So just go. Even if you don't make it, just go and start seeing how it works. And like you said, the networking is so important. You're gonna meet people, or you're gonna connect to them.
Yeah.
So, but answering the question, these open trials are very, very difficult to be accepted on. So don't think that will be, that's most importantly, don't think that that's the only way for you to actually get into a pro contract, because it's very not the case. And like I said, in most of the cases, they only need 2, 3 players, and they do a whole combine with
Yeah.
200 people, and then just pick
So
like the actual ones that
so
very very good.
when
Yeah,
people decide to go pro, the very first thing they decide is to go into this tryouts of Premier League teams and La Liga teams, and I feel that's where they mess it all up, because
yeah,
there they have thousands and thousands of players coming, where I think so one or two might get selected, and that's where they lose all the hope.
yeah. First of all, if you have to be realistic with your reality,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like where are you currently playing right now? Okay, say you're playing in the amateur level, and then you sign up for this La Liga open try, whatever that is. So just be realistic. Just be realistic with yourself. You really do think that a La Liga team will take an amateur club
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
like? Sometimes
Things don't
I
add up.
understand
Yeah.
that I understand that people have dreams, and especially young players, but sometimes what lacks is this knowledge of common sense. Of course, look, if they're gonna pick 1 or 2 players, a La Liga team, they will pick players that are already professional. First of all,
Yeah.
so yeah, this for me, it's clear step by step. If you're an amateur player, try to find a semi-pro player, and
Sure.
then try to find a low league professional club, and then just work your way up. Just because it's technically impossible to go without a club, be sitting on your couch straight to the Premier League. It doesn't happen.
Obviously, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that brings me to the second situation. So this guy is 22 years old, and people are pressuring him to get a job, and so he needs money, playing in some amateur league in his country or city. So what should he do? Listen to people, or just go full gas on his dreams and his passion?
So this is the type of person that I would like to talk to in person. I would
Yeah.
like to look into his eyes and say, and just ask, what do you want? What is your dream? Look, just like I just said to the first one, you have to first of all, you have to have very clear in your head
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
you want for real. Like
Yeah.
there's if you're already thinking or even letting people talk to you and decide what you should do, that
Yeah.
means that your plan is not clear enough for you.
Sure,
If you
sure.
have if you have already like your
Your goal
okay,
is
this is what
clear.
I'm gonna do, your goal clear. There's no second option. That's it. Everything that people talk to you and throw at you will just enters here and goes out
You
here
know, the
because
the the
that's not
biggest
what you want.
problem, is that people people feel that the maybe I'm into delusion, maybe I'm not made for this sport, and maybe I'll never get good to like play professional, and maybe all that effort that I put will go to waste and go for nothing. This is what they think, and this is the mentality that they have, and they put that those comments that I'm 23, I'm 22, can I go pro, can I go. You can see thousands and thousands of comment on become elites video, on 7 MLC's video.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're just flooding, and I'm sure they're also there in your DMs too.
yeah, exactly. And again, I don't think it's too difficult to understand. It's just first of all, talk to yourself, look at your eyes and say, do I really believe? Do I really believe that I am good enough and can play professional? If the answer is yes, and then the second step is what I just said.
Yeah,
That is what you are from now on. Like, period. There's nothing that will prevent me from going forward. That's it. And then you just go, man. Just say,
yeah.
just put in your head that
Or maybe
that
asking, even if that person is not good enough right now, asking that can I be good enough in few
yeah,
years to come.
it's just about believing. It's just about
Yeah.
believing. It's very clear for me. That's it.
So yeah, So the third situation is that this guy is 20. Whatever situations I'm taking, you've already been into that situation, so it's very it's very good to hear from you.
Yeah, I answered
Uh,
them naturally.
yeah, so 25 years old, he needs money, can't earn sufficiently from soccer. Hence, he has to do small jobs like coaching, refereeing, uh, and also a conventional job of 9 to 5. So, how can he manage his trainings and fitness? So, this is the question.
Very good question. And I know exactly where this guy is because I just told you my story. So
Yeah,
I had always to work on the side to pay for my own shit. So
yeah,
the grind, that right there is real because you're doing all these things, but you have a plan in your head already. So you know that everything that you're doing is temporary. It's not that you're going to be working on that your whole life. So
yeah,
here's the thing, understand that all these things that you're doing is temporary. Second, put on the paper the plan. I just told you here the perfect plan. Start where you are, um, make a video, contact clubs, blah blah blah, and then make a very good schedule. Put
yeah.
put in the hours that you work every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's always gonna be some gaps, like 1 or 2 or 3 hours that you really don't do anything a day. So just sneak trainings in there. Like
Yeah,
obviously, in the day that you work more hours, you're not gonna be doing your hardest training. So
obviously,
put a
yeah,
light training there. Yeah.
yeah,
The day that you have off, then you can go hard. The day that you work less, just put a mild training there. So it's just about fitting in the trainings that you do. And about training, there's just billions of videos out there how to train and
yeah,
how to get fit and how
yeah,
to.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a matter of finding what you want best and fitting in
Mm-hmm.
into your schedule. That's it.
Hmm. So that brings me to the next question. So this guy, the fourth situation, I didn't wanted to put this, but the
Bring it
but
on.
yeah, this is a 23-year-old, and he has never played football in his life and just starting out. So this guy is now confused. There are so many videos on Instagram, saying that you should do this, you should do that, and he's clueless what to do, where to start. So what would you
What?
say?
How old is he?
23.
He's 23. You said he never played before.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. Again, for me, it always starts with what you want. That's it. What do you want? Is it really what you want? Or there is a plan B? Or maybe if this doesn't go well, I have this plan B here. Okay, fine. If you do want to be a professional footballer, if that's what you want, we start from there. Okay, 23, never played. First of all, try to find a club, a place where to play. So without a club, he would actually now try to find an amateur club. So just go to anywhere you are. Say there is this Sunday league team here where I live. They play once a month only, and that's the only thing I have around here. Okay, go there. So start training there and see how you evolve, how you improve as a player, and then start doing everything I just said. Start recording yourself
Yeah, yeah,
playing, start recording yourself training and everything,
yeah,
track your improvements, and then try to take every season one step up. And then right there, the environment itself is going to tell you what you need to improve, what you need to work on,
yeah.
and everything. That's what I would do if I was him.
So with this, yeah, you want to talk more?
Up to you. Maybe do you have any other questions,
No, no,
or
no. I
we
have
can talk
done.
about anything else?
Yeah, I've done all the questions that I wanted to ask, and plus, I just was mesmerized by your story and your struggles.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
I'm really, really thankful that you came on my channel and shared this wisdom with us. That's because there's so
My
many,
pleasure.
yeah, that's because there's so many players out there seeking hope, and you are doing a very good job for giving them
Thank you.
hope
Thank you.
and actually giving the ways. So I have linked Matt's channel and Matt's Instagram in the description, so please do follow his channel.
Thank,
Whoever's
thank you.
interested to be a professional footballer, he has also made a free ebook to how to go about being a professional footballer. Plus, he also, I think, uploads his workouts and trainings.
Yep.
So do follow his channel and Instagram, and I'll meet you in next live stream. Okay, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
brother. Thank you. That's my pleasure. And